First, live, local. This is First Alert Weather Extra.
Hey, welcome to First Alert Weather Extra on at the 7 o'clock hour, I should say. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mark Nelson here at KPTV. And you see Payton over there. How are you doing, Payton?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you, Mark?
Payton Major, our latest meteorologist, our newest meteorologist, I should say. Slow down, Mark. Trying to get caught up here. We had a little technical snafu, but we're back. I'm good, and you're doing fine. You had a weekend off, right?
Yeah. I got a little taste of the sunshine, which is good. Now I say a taste because it was, I think, 4 hours of the sunshine, but that's okay.
Oh, maybe we had more up here in the Pacific Northwest.
Honestly, I think it was actually just about 10 degrees cooler up here. So.
Speaking of cooler, that's my segue, and Payton. Coming up in a few minutes, Payton's going to talk about where's the frost. We haven't had any frost yet in Portland this year, and hard to find the Cascade snow as well. So you're going to cover both of those, right?
Yep, I got you.
I'll cover number 3, the old splitting jet stream. So let's jump right into it. This is our 7-day forecast right now, and the deal is it's kind of quiet coming up here for another week. Last week was real quiet too. Look at that. We only have a good chance for rain, maybe Saturday night into Sunday morning, more likely late Sunday into Monday. This is actually the first day that I actually see an organized weather system. In fact, I'll just jump right to it. I think it's right here. Okay, so if we jump ahead to Sunday, we go Saturday evening, weak little system dragging itself through here. So it could be pretty gray on Saturday, maybe a shower. Sunday right now is looking quiet. And then look at that nice little area of low pressure could finally spin up the coastline. That's the only time in the next 7 days we see something like this, like an actual storm moving up the west coast, headed mainly for Canada. So this isn't a big storm for us, but next Monday could be a pretty wet day, and you see the mountain snow there as well. Okay, let's talk short term here. First, next 7 to 10 days, as you saw, we don't see anything crazy happening. So we can go even further out in time to Thanksgiving Day. We sure don't see any lowland snow, nothing below 2,000 feet. Arctic blast, no. That's if we get one, it's probably headed east of the Rockies between now and Thanksgiving Day, but even then we don't really see one out there. Unlikely that we get a windstorm. That area of low pressure next Monday, that's the only one I see in the next week, so we're not going to see a windstorm here in the valleys. And then flooding, no, because we just don't see any heavy rain coming up. All right, so today we picked up 0.2 of an inch. All of that was before 7 a.m., basically, while most of us were sleeping. Salem, about a ½ inch of rain. If you look at the last 10 days, we did have that nice little 5-day dry stretch. It rained a little bit Thursday, dry again Friday, Saturday, and then it rained, of course, yesterday and Monday. And as of now, we're at about 3 inches for the month. We averaged a little over 5 inches, so we're getting there. If you look at the numbers compared to normal, yeah, Portland typically at this point has 2.7 inches, and we're running, oh, look at that, right at average. Salem is pretty close to average, maybe slightly above. Eugene is slightly below. Astoria is pretty close. So nothing is unusual rain-wise so far this month. It's just slowly adding up. The ground is really wet, as it should be in November. So it will be a little colder tonight with some patchy frost, and you may be thinking, wow, that's pretty chilly. No, that's just back to normal. We've had some really warm nights. We're going to see a mixture of sun and clouds coming up on Tuesday, tomorrow. It should be dry except some coastal showers. There could just be a shower or two. And then a breezy east wind is coming back, mainly in the east metro coming up for Wednesday, not too strong there. So here's a setup. This is why the storms are so weak lately. You can see a lot of action down over California. This is satellite imagery throughout the daytime today. Something's moving by to our north. We're kind of in between. That's why we just had this cloud cover, but not much rain. Systems are splitting apart. In fact, we can go higher up in the jet stream. There's the northern part of that system, the southern part. So the next one approaching in the jet stream here, it's just about like that. Look how it splits apart too. This is Thursday. It's heading to the south, and a little bit goes up to the north, and we're still south of the main jet stream on Friday, the warm side of the jet. That's why it stays relatively mild, just a little cooler than it's been. No blast of cold air coming. This is Friday. So then we go into Saturday, more of a westerly flow, and Sunday and Monday, yeah, here comes that more organized system here on Monday. And this is a little bit of a change. The big question is, do we have a significant change next Tuesday or beyond? So this is 2 days before Thanksgiving. This is a cooler northwesterly flow here. We can get snow showers down 2,000, 3,000 feet. But as of now, we don't see anything coming down the coastline to give us a blast of Arctic air or snow close to sea level. That can happen at the end of November. We're not seeing that for now. We don't see it for now through at least the first part of the Thanksgiving weekend. All right, so cloud cover wise, tomorrow morning we wake up, it's pretty gray. There'll be a few sun breaks, a few more sun breaks midday. And then we get into Wednesday, there's some high clouds overhead. The breezy east wind is blowing. And remember, you saw that system approaching for Wednesday night and Thursday and splitting with most of the energy headed into California. Latest model says the rain gets pretty close to us, kind of over the top of us briefly. This is Wednesday after sunset. It's turning wet on the coast. Some rain comes inland, but look how it fades away. By daybreak Thursday, it's gone. maybe a sprinkle Thursday morning. That's our chance for a shower Thursday. And then it just fades away Thursday afternoon. So this would say we get a little bit of rain coming up Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. Forecast rain, in fact, here's the latest model forecast. This will take us through Wednesday evening, then Thursday morning, 1/10 of an inch or so, and almost nothing makes it east, very far east of I-5. The system is just falling apart because it's all splitting and heading for California. Okay, so for your Tuesday, we were thinking partly cloudy skies, a few showers, temperatures low to mid 50s. When I say a few showers, I mean the vast majority of the day should be dry. Just a shower or two, that's it. Here in the valleys tomorrow, dry day. I don't think any of the coastal showers make it inland, so partly cloudy, dry. High temps only around 50. That's after a cool start in the 30s. More on that from Payton in a minute. Columbia River Gorge, partly cloudy and dry. Temperatures upper 40s to low 50s. West wind just a little breezy, and then the east wind comes in tomorrow night and Wednesday. Passes, all right, this is a biggie, and Payton will talk about this in more detail, but bare roads, we think, through the weekend. For sure, tomorrow, 37 at Government Camp. Notice it is a little cooler than last week. It's around freezing, but partly cloudy up at Timberline and Meadows. And then east of the Cascades, partly cloudy, mountain flurries, maybe the Ochoco Mountains, more likely the Blue Mountains here and the Wallowas up here in far northeast Oregon. Cities generally upper 40s to right around 50 for highs. So our 3-day forecast then. We've got the breezy east wind tomorrow night and Wednesday. The usual East County areas, it's not strong, okay? Probably lingering up for a bit on Thursday too, that wind. Just cooler nights. Temperatures down about or maybe slightly below average. And I like this one, the 7-day rain forecast. It's pretty clear there's no good chance for any sort of soaking all the way through Friday. Saturday evening, could it rain a bit? Possibly. Sunday, maybe a shower. Monday, far more likely. That's our next chance for real soaking. Here's that 7-day forecast. And by the way, you can see on Wednesday, tomorrow night and Wednesday with that east wind coming back, it shows up nicely our model forecast for Troutdale forecast gusts. And here we are Wednesday morning, daybreak right about here. See how the gusts suddenly ramp up from the east and the E is easterly there. All right, so that's Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday we've got likely dry, some evening showers Saturday. Timing is very uncertain on this Saturday evening's rain. And then we feel pretty confident with the rain coming in next Monday. So that's how it's looking there. Let's do the coastal storm outlook. I think you probably know the answer already. Do we see any storms coming up at the coast? No, although next Monday it could be pretty windy. So here's the wind gust forecast. We're going to fly through the next few days because if there's no color, that means gusts below 30 and doesn't really affect you out there. There's Tuesday. Whoa, we went really fast there. That was quite a move. Wednesday and Thursday suddenly just went by. Nothing happened. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Oh, there we go. Finally, Monday. Southerly gusts have returned along the coast. Gusts 50 to 60. Breezy south winds here in the valleys as well. So that's the plan. That's the next chance for anything kind of stormy along the coast is next Monday. As for big waves at the coast, not really. Just the green colors are 10 feet or so. Notice it's pretty quiet on Wednesday. Big swell offshore decays as it moves towards the coastline. And all the way through Sunday. That's how things are looking there. So, Payton, I think the big message here is we don't have any real stormy weather. The next chance for something that's kind of interesting is next Monday with that low pressure center moving up the coastline. Yeah. And still waiting for frost and some mountain snow.
I know, and I think warm nights are nice. Obviously, we don't want to pull out the ice scraper. It's kind of nice to delay that, but we do need them eventually. And I'll kind of talk about when we should get our first frost mark first. Okay. And so let's talk about Eastern Oregon because this is pretty early in the year. Most locations have already had it, obviously September, August. You're even seeing some early to mid-October here in Pendleton, Boardman, LeGrand, Joseph's, September 21st. I'll zoom over to the west side of the Cascades. This is now where we see more October, maybe into November in a couple spots, like Florence, obviously a little warmer in some coastal locations. November 16th, though, for Portland, that was yesterday. So keep in mind, this is the average from 1991 to 2020. And so that's when we typically would see, that first frost in the Portland airport area where we have that weather sensor. But check out our lows the last, I guess, now 17 days. Every single low has been in the 40-degree range or higher, and any red box you're seeing here is above normal. And so we have had every single day above normal, except the second, 41 degrees there. And our average temperature for the month, 4.5 degrees. So it's really warm, and I think this is the main culprit. Obviously, our highs have been on the warmer side, but when these lows are so much warmer consistently, and we haven't seen any relief from that, that really racks up this average temperature, which remember is the sum average of the high and low. Okay, so when I kind of looked at November stats, this is all the way through yesterday, so through the 16th. This is not for the entire month, but so far, let's say we ended November today, it would be the second warmest November on record. 53.2 is our average temperature. temperature. Record is 55.7. That was 2016. Now, Mark, I remember you saying it was a cold winter in 2016. So
right.
Even though it may be, really warm right now, don't let that discourage you if you're kind of looking forward to a cooler winter. It doesn't mean anything. We're still really early on. By the way, 5th place is tied 3 ways. 1983, 2023, 1965. Okay, so first autumn frost each year. I just like looking at history because it's kind of cool to see. Okay, since 2019, Hillsborough tends to freeze a little earlier. So we see those dates October, maybe a little bit of early to mid-November. Last year was November 15th. And then the last about 6 years here in Portland, we got October, December 26th. That was a weird year in 2021. And then usually sometime in November. So November 30th was last year. So we're not, I'd say, late in Portland, but we're definitely on the later side for Hillsborough. Our latest first frost, this is now ranked here, number 1 being December 5th, 2016. Again, that really warm November too, that probably played into that. Right now we're at 2nd place. So let's say we hold off in Hillsborough and we don't get a frost until December 6th, we would take 1st place there. By the way, average first frost for Hillsborough, October 23rd. So yeah, we are about a month behind there. I'm not super worried. Obviously, I think we are seeing those cooler nights come up. Know that frost forms when the air temperature is usually above freezing because those sensors are about 5 feet off the ground. Anytime you see a weather instrument, sometimes it looks like a little beehive. There's a thermometer hidden in there, and that's about 5 feet off the ground. So the ground tends to get a little cooler, 32 down there, and that's when we start to see water molecules touch the frozen surface and freeze. Vegetation, grass, sometimes your car are usually the things that get frosty first. Okay, so look at our lows the next 7 days. Again, this is just in the morning, so we're not talking, midnight or anything. These typically happen just before the sun rises or right around sunrise. 37 for Portland the next 2 mornings, Thursday morning 39, and so those will be our first 3 30-degree lows of the month. 40s for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday as well. Our average low is around the low 40s this time of year. And I pulled up some other locations. You can see Salem will be in the 30s through Wednesday morning. Seaside may even drop into the 30s. Hood River also, Government Camp 27, pretty typical. Okay, so frost and freeze alerts are active just for the eastern Columbia River Gorge, the Dalles all the way to Arlington. And this is actually not for tonight. This is for tomorrow night through Wednesday morning. Lows 29, maybe up to 32 degrees. And, anytime you see a freeze morning, we could be looking at, killing crops, make sure you're protecting plants. But it's so late in the season, it's not too much of a worry. Okay, Cascades update really quick. We kind of been hinting at not going to see much snow for the mountains and stuff. So when we look at the snow level forecast right now, it is low, but it's dry, so we're not going to see any snow. It rises about 6,000 feet all the way through about Saturday, and then that system on Monday that we've been tracking may drop it down to about past level, 4,000 feet. So something we'll be watching, but regardless, 7-day snowfall is not looking too great. I'm so sorry again, skiers. I feel like we just keep delivering bad news, Mark, about those Cascade snowfall, but 3 to 6 inches next Monday. That's pretty much all we're seeing, and of course that's the 7-day forecast as well. I'll show you just so you can see with your own eyes what our models are spitting out all the way through next Tuesday. So this is almost an 8-day forecast here. Yeah, only a few inches, and ski resorts about 6,000 feet and above. So we'd like to see this 2 to 3 feet before the ski resorts open and we start to see ski season begin. And Mark, I know you have a pass, so.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah. That's all I got.
I'm all ready to go, all dressed up and nowhere to go, as they say. I think that was a country song.
And wasn't it this time last year the resorts opened?
Yeah, it was tomorrow's date. There was 4 feet of snow on the ground at Timberline.
Wow.
So each year, is very different. I keep getting disturbed when it wasn't twice you mentioned 2016.
Yeah.
Which really shows you what happens in November sometimes stays in November. Because that year, all of a sudden we hit the 2nd week of December and we can say it's just streaming, all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had where kids were stuck on school buses till midnight because I remember it was 12, 14 of 16.
Yep, and I was in high school and I was trapped on a bus.
You were trapped? Oh, you were on a bus?
Yeah.
You were one of those buses. So
I sure was.
Well, it was comfortable in here, but yeah, it was pretty bad. The kids on the buses at midnight, like, let me go home.
Yeah.
And then we had a big freeze in January, and the surprise of snow, instead of being 3 or 4 inches, it was 14 inches.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the point, and we had several ice storms in there. That was our coldest winter we've had in quite a few years. So
didn't we not have any snow the year before, or was it 2 years before that?
No, that could be the year before.
Wow.
I mean, 2 years, that whole period, 2013 to 2016 was pretty quiet.
Yeah.
And then in the fall of 2016,
Just,
I mean, early winter, things went bad.
Yeah.
But well, maybe not. We'll see what happens this year. We don't know.
yeah.
Either way, I think we're clear through Thanksgiving for any sort of wild weather.
Good. Good to hear, especially if you're traveling.
Yeah. Good traveling this coming weekend. Good travel pass. Good travel through the passes. Okay, so I think we've covered it all. That's your First Alert Weather Extra. Peyton, I didn't miss anything, right?
No, you're good.
Okay, we're good. Thank you, Peyton, for joining us, and all of you for joining us. All these do live on our website, kptv.com weather, First Alert Weather Extra, upper right. You'll find it right there, and you can look at the last few if there's a subject that interests you. But thanks for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow night on First Alert Weather Extra at 7 p.m. right here on our streaming channel.